Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going well so far. We've got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. Our goal is to get to 100,000 subscribers before the end of the year. We're just shy of 85,000 right now. There's a lot of people out there saying that we can't do it. I still think we can. Let's prove them wrong. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down below. All right, guys, with a new day comes new opportunity to make some money. I have 4 picks to go ahead and share with you guys in today's MLB slate. But first, before we dive into today's video, we do have to do a quick little recap of how we did last night. And guys, after a rough Wednesday, we had a great bounce back Wednesday, guys. We had a fantastic night last night. Went 3-1 overall with 2 plus money hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. over 1.5 bases was plus money, and Lawrence Butler over 1.5 bases was plus money. So 2 plus money hits in those 3 wins. So a really solid night from a unit standpoint. Our only miss was the Jazz Chisholm Jr. prop, and that was close too. He did have 1 hit, but that was just it. He needed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He finished with just 1. But like I said, guys, really solid night last night. Great way to battle back after what was a pretty rough day on Tuesday. Like I said, guys, 4 picks going for today's slate. Let's keep the vibes going. Let's keep that momentum riding into today. Let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into the picks. All right, guys, jumping right into the outlier screen here, guys. Our first prop of 4 in today's slate. We are targeting the Diamondbacks-Giants game, 3:45 p.m. first pitch. We got some early games today. We got Matt Chapman here, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Available on PrizePicks for -119, DraftKings for -120, and BetMGM for -120. Matt Chapman just got paid by the Giants. Now, hopefully, he gets us paid by hitting this prop today. He's just signed a 6-year, $151 million deal, I think I read. So he just signed a pretty massive contract there with the Giants. So again, hopefully he rewards us with a little money for ourselves. And the data does seem to suggest we have a pretty good chance of getting paid here. Matt Chapman has cashed the over in 7 of his last 10 games with the San Francisco Giants, an average of 2.2 total bases per game, a 70% hit rate, and he has cashed it in 6 of his last 7 games. Even if you want to go ahead and stretch the data out to the last 20 games, it's still pretty solid. 13 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over. It's a 65% hit rate with an average of 2.05 total bases per game. And so far in 2024, not too bad. 52% hit rate this year for Matt Chapman. 71 out of 136 games, he's cashed the over with an average of 2.1 total bases per game. And the head-to-head data is pretty strong as well. You see 6 out of his last 11 matchups versus the Arizona Diamondbacks dating back to last season's cashed the over. It's a 55% hit rate versus Arizona since July 2023. And most importantly, this year, he's been on a pretty good run versus them. He's cashed this in 5 of his last 6 meetings this season with Arizona. So like I said, guys, across the board, really solid data here on this prop. The insights provided by Outlier. Matt Chapman has exceeded 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 7 of his last 8 games at home with an average of 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs per game over those last 8 home games. So again, pretty good data point there. Looking at the key matchup stats down below, Matt Chapman versus Merrill Kelly. Pretty small sample size here since 2018, just 3 plate appearances, but he does have a hit off of him. Again, you can't really get too much of that, just 3 plate appearances versus Kelly. Looking down below at the key matchup stats, though, we can get a little bit more from this data. Now, Matt Chapman's batting .247 overall this year. Not fantastic, but not terrible either. Versus right-handed pitchers, there's a slight decrease to .241, but it's not that much of a dip that I'm too concerned about it. And on the flip side, we do have a nice increase there from Merrill Kelly. .260 batting average overall allowed this year. That does increase to .286 versus right-handed batter. So that fares very well for us. .286 batting average allowed is a very high number, so that fares very well for us. His ERA does have a slight drop, but still .415. Pretty solid. His home runs per 9 takes a pretty nice dip to 1.2 there, so that's a little bit concerning. But overall, the data seems pretty solid here. I'd be more bullish if Chapman's average was a little bit higher. I think I'd be a little more comfortable, a little more safe if he was batting over .250. Again, he's batting .241 off of right-handed pitchers this year, but the matchup seems to be pretty good. He's been cashing it pretty consistently, and again, the guy just got motherfucking paid. So hopefully he's feeling, if he's not feeling great after getting 6 years, $150 million, I don't know what's going to make him feel good. I know it's going to make me feel good, though. A nice cash here on this over. All right, guys, before we dive into the second pick in today's slate, please comment cashed down below if you're watching today's video at this point. Thank you very much, as always, people, for watching. Go ahead and comment cash down below so I can go ahead and see who's watching through the video. Our second pick in today's slate, we're moving on to the Mariners Athletics game, 3:37 p.m. first pitch. We're going J.P. Crawford under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This prop is available on PrizePicks for -119 and DraftKings for -130. This prop, we did try this the other night on September 3rd. We did lose on that one. You see, we had the under. He had 2. He had 1 hit and 1 run. He's actually cashed this in the last 2 games versus the Oakland A's. Although he's had back-to-back overs, the data overall still suggests it's a solid prop here. He's cashed it in 8 of his last 10 games, an 80% hit rate, averaging 0.9 hits, runs, RBIs per game. And if you want to go ahead and stretch the data out to the last 20, 75% hit rate, 15 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the under with an average of 1.35 hits, runs, RBIs per game. And even look at the 2024 numbers so far this year, a 56% hit rate on this under. 47 out of 84 games this year, he's cashed the under with an average of 1.68 hits, runs, RBIs per game. Now, the head-to-head data is the most concerning. You see, in just 8 of his last 19 matchups versus Oakland, he's cashed the under. It's just a 42% hit rate with an average of 2.21 hits, runs, RBIs per game. And again, you see each of the last 2 matchups in this series, he has cashed the over. So not fantastic. This is the one piece of the data where I'm not thrilled with, but I still think overall the data is solid on this prop. I still think it's a very good prop. Looking down below, the insights provided by Outlier, J.P. Crawford has failed to exceed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 9 of his last 11 games, 0.8 hits, runs, RBIs per game average over those last 11 games. And unlike the last two matchups, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying matchups. The last 2 matchups with Oakland these past 2 nights, he actually has a really solid pitching matchup tonight in our favor. You look at J.P. Crawford versus Joey Estes since 2018. Just 6 plate appearances, but just a 167 batting average off of Estes. Again, only 6 plate appearances, so a relatively small sample size there. But again, still pretty solid data from what we can get. J.P. Crawford's batting of 195 this year, not very good, and it gets even worse versus right-handed pitchers. J.P. Crawford is hitting just 167 this year off of right-handed pitchers, so that fares very well for us. And again, unlike the last couple nights, he has a really solid matchup here in our favor. Joey Estes, 236 batting average allowed overall this year, which is pretty good. But versus left-handed batters, it gets even better. And 204 batters faced too, so pretty decent sample size there. 219 batting average allowed, really small number. I like to see that. It's a really good spot there. Now, his ERA does jump up quite a bit to 4.89. I'm still not too concerned about that there. What I'm really focusing on is the fact that his batting average allowed is on the lower side. You do see a slight increase in home runs per 9, but it's about the same number at 1.3 versus 1.4, and his OBA does drop to 299. Again, J.P. Crawford's had some success these past 2 games, but I think he's due now to get back to cashing this under. Again, with this pitching matchup versus Joey Estes, I think we get back on track, and he cashes this under tonight. All right, guys, our third pick in today's slate, sticking with this game and actually sticking with another under on the Seattle Mariners. We're going with Jorge Polanco of the Mariners, under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This is available on DraftKings for -145 odds. This pick has the most juice out of all the picks in today's slate. And it makes sense because the data is absolutely fantastic in this prop. 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under. That's an 80% hit rate, averaging 0.7 hits, runs, RBIs per game. He's cashed the under in all 3 games of this series versus the Oakland A's as well. So where J.P. Crawford had some success in the first few games of this series, Jorge Polanco has not. So that fares well for us. Even if you go ahead and stretch the data to the last 20 games, it's still pretty solid. 13 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the under. It's a 65% hit rate with an average of 1.55 hits, runs, RBIs per game. So far in 2024, a 68% hit rate. Really good hit rate for us there. 67 out of 99 games this year for the Mariners, he's cashed the under. It's an average of 1.48 total bases per game. And the head-to-head data where you saw, again, J.P. Crawford has had some success hitting the over off of the Oakland A's. Jorge Polanco, not so much. You see, each of his last 6 meetings versus the Oakland A's, he has cashed the under. A 100% hit rate, averaging just 0.5 hits, runs, RBIs per game, including all 4 matchups with Oakland this season. So like I said, guys, really great data. There's a reason this prop is so juiced at -145. The insights provided by Outlier, Jorge Polanco has failed to exceed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 5 of his last 6 games on the road. An average of just 0.5 hits, runs, RBIs average over that 6-game road span. And then again, the matchup is fantastic versus Joey Estes. He's had 5 plate appearances versus Joey Estes since 2018. He has gotten a hit off of him, but again, small sample size there. Polanco's batting an abysmal 206 this year, but it gets even worse versus right-handed pitchers. 198 batting average. Not as bad as J.P. Crawford, but still pretty low there. And again, I'm not going to have to go back through the numbers. I already told you the Joey Estes numbers. They are the same. They apply to the same thing because Jorge Polanco hits lefty as well. Although he could hit righty in this matchup, I think either way you see the numbers for Joey Estes. They're pretty solid across the board. All right, guys, before we dive into the fourth and final pick of today's slate, I do have to give a quick special shout out to Outlier, the sponsor of today's video and all of my MLB Player Prop videos here on the channel. We do offer a special link down below in our description that gives you guys a 7-day free trial to check it out for yourself. Guys, if you've been watching today's video, if you watch all my Player Prop videos, you can see what Outlier can do for you. All the data that you see here is just a fraction of what is available thanks to Outlier. I'm just showing you guys some of the basic stuff, just I would say the important stuff, but there's so much more. You can go even more deeper, more in depth. I mean, I don't even go through all this stuff. They have the pitch arsenal, they have Jorge Polanco versus pitch arsenal, they have the heat maps. I mean, there's so much more that goes into it. I only look mainly at the main stuff, but there's so much more. I mean, there's literally on the left side of the tab, you can do games, props, everything. They are fantastic, and if you want to make money in the sports betting landscape, you got to have the right tool, and Outlier is the best the money can buy. And the best part is, after your 7-day free trial is over, it's only $19.99 a month. And again, if you're making money, like I said, I've made money, a lot of money thanks to Outlier. I know Ev has. I know a lot of people who use it have. It really is a helpful tool, and it makes you a better sports bettor. It basically pays for itself. You hit a couple of bets, and all of a sudden your monthly fee is paid off. So go ahead and give it a try, guys. Link down below, 7-day free trial. Special thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. All right, guys, for our fourth and final pick of today's slate, we have our only our only plus money play of the day. We're going with the Tigers-Padres game, 8:40 p.m. first pitch. We're going Jackson Merrill here of the Padres over 1.5 total bases. We're getting that for plus 110 on FanDuel. Also available on multiple other sports books for plus money odds. The recent data looks pretty good on this prop, guys. 8 of his last 10 games, Jackson Merrill has cashed the over, an average of 2.8 total bases per game, an 80% hit rate over the last 10. Even if you go ahead and search that out to the last 20 games, it's still really solid. 65% hit rate, 13 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over with an average of 2.4 total bases per game. Now, the overall season data is not fantastic, just a 45% hit rate on the over all year long. 60 out of 134 games this year is cashed the over, with an average, though, of 1.82 total bases per game. You do see in the early half of the season, the first half of the year, you see a lot more cashes on the under here, but of late, you see basically, let's go ahead and see where it kind of starts. Basically from the beginning of June, from the whole summer through June through now, you see the cashes have been becoming way more consistent than you saw back in March, April, and May. So the last 3 months, he has been absolutely cooking when it comes to this prop. In the head-to-head data, each of the last 2 matchups versus the Tigers in this series, he's cashed the over an average of 4.5 total bases per game. He had a really big game last night with 7 total bases, and what was a 6-5 win for the Padres. The insights provided by Outlier, Jackson Merrill has exceeded 1.5 bases in 5 of his last 6 games, an average of 3.2 bases per game average over those last 6 games. Now, look at the key matchup stats. You're going to see in a minute why this is a plus money play, despite the fact that the data so far seems pretty promising. And even if you just look at Jackson Merrill, you think, man, this is plus money. This is crazy because his numbers actually increase across the board when facing off with right-handed pitchers. Merrill's batting .294 overall this year, but that number increases to .319 when facing off with right-handed pitchers. Again, across the board, his BA, BIP, his ISO, and his extra base hit percentage, everything is in the green. Everything takes a jump when facing off with right-handed pitchers. But the pitching matchup with Casey Mize or Mize, I don't really know how you say it. Sorry, I'm not great with names. Of the Detroit Tigers, his numbers actually decrease, which is not very good for us. His .425 ERA and .286 batting average allowed are really good marks, but versus left-handed batters, his ERA jumps down to .318. His batting average allowed goes down to .250. His slugging percentage down to .366. So these are not just minor jumps; these are pretty significant drops down in the data. Now, to be fair, when you have a batter batting .319 against a pitcher with a .250 batting average, that's still a pretty solid matchup. Again, I'd prefer to the .286 line, but he is a better pitcher versus left-handed batters, than he is right-handed batters. And the other thing here is the extra base hit percentage is low across the board. You see just a 27.6% extra base hit percentage and a slight increase, but it's not really an increase, 27.6 versus 27.9. It's the same thing, essentially. So you got a low extra base hit percentage and a pitcher whose numbers all drop versus left-handed batters. I still think it's a solid matchup, though. I still think the matchup makes sense, and even though it's plus money, I still think it's great value. .250 batting average allowed is still fairly high. The slugging percentage is a little low. The extra base hit percentage a little low, especially we're talking about a bases prop where you need him to cash multiple bases here. But I still like, again, for plus money, if you get it for plus 110 on FanDuel, really solid value here, guys. All right, guys, so those are all 4 picks from today's slate. Quick little recap. We have J.P. Crawford under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Jorge Polanco under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Matt Chapman over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. All 3 of those props are before 4 o'clock, so if you're watching this video right now, try and get that in as soon as possible. And then the 4th prop, we have Jackson Merrill over 1.5 total bases. Again, this link will be down below in the description to go ahead and follow along. All right, guys, that does it for me today. Thank you very much, as always, for watching. One more time, guys, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. I will be back tomorrow for our Freaky Friday 5-leg parlay MLB player prop video. Until then, guys, I hope you're all winners. Enjoy today. Also enjoy the start of the NFL football season. We have so much content, guys. I have my college football video for week 2 coming out at 5 p.m. tonight. We've got already at H2H season 2 is out. We have Trey's NFL picks are coming out today, or I think they're already out. We've got all of Ev's videos. I mean, we have so much football content coming out, guys, along with the rest of our MLB and WNBA content. So make sure, guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We're going to have so much great stuff. My NFL Futures video came out yesterday. So much stuff. So like I said, guys, subscribe, watch all those videos, and get ready for football. And enjoy that Chiefs-Ravens Thursday Night Football kickoff tonight, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Hope you're all winners.